There's one specific area on the chart where your entry should be happening, and if you're not entering there, you're getting in too early or too late. And that one thing where you actually enter is the difference between a clean winning trade and a stop out on the same setup. Today I'm giving you the precise mechanical rules for that entry. No guessing, no feeling, just rules you can apply every time you trade. So let's start now with how the market actually reverses, because every entry we're going to talk about today comes from a swing point. And that swing point is built from a sequence of candles. We call this candle 1, candle 2, candle 3, and candle 4. Now on the higher time frame, if candle 2 sweeps below the low of candle 1, that's already enough. We can look to trade candle 3. But if candle 2 closes below candle 1, instead of just sweeping it, we have to wait, we have to let candle 3 close, and then we can trade the expansion of candle 4. Now, the same idea plays out on the other side too, it's just flipped. So in the bearish case, we're watching the same candle sequence, but this time candle 2 needs to take out the high of candle 1. If it sweeps above the high and then reverses, that's our signal. We can then look to trade candle 3 straight away. But if candle 2 actually closes above candle 1 instead of just tagging it and coming back, we have to be more patient. We have to wait for candle 3 to close first, and then we can start anticipating candle 4. So the logic is the same either way, it's just mirrored. So what we want to see is either a sweep and a reaction, or a close, and in this case it means that we need more confirmation, and we're getting that confirmation from candle 3 closure, and then we can trade candle 4 continuation, so the expansion of candle 4. Now let's talk about how these candles are actually built, because this is what confirms that we are reading the right reaction. So in the bullish case, a bullish candle forms as open, low, high, and close. So price opens, dips down first, creates the low and creates the wick, and then reverses and closed higher. This sequence is telling us that buyers stepped in and took control. In the bearish case, it's just a mirror. So the candle forms as open, high, low, and close. So price opens, pushes up first to create the high and the wick of the candle, then turns and closes lower. So in this case, we are seeing the sellers took over. Now, here's where the equilibrium comes in, and it applies the same way on both sides, either bearish or bullish. The equilibrium is just the midpoint, the 0.5 of the previous candle. So it's the halfway point between the high and the low. And what we want to see is the wick of the entry candle staying inside that equilibrium zone. So in the bullish case, we have candle 1, candle 2, sweeping candle 1 low. Now we want to trade candle 3. So we want to see the wick of candle 3 respecting the equilibrium area. And in the bearish case, it's the same. We want to see the wick of candle 3 sit around or below the equilibrium. If the wick is respecting this area and is respecting the equilibrium, that's what tells us we are still in the right area to enter. If this equilibrium gets broken, then the move is less likely, and in this case, the setup is invalidated. And the same principle applies to candle 3 and candle 4. So we mark the equilibrium of candle 3, and we want to see price respect that midpoint before continuing in its direction. And that's how we are able to catch the expansion every single time this formation plays out. So finally, here we have the higher time frame on one side and the lower time frame on the other. On the higher time frame, we can see the structure we just walked through. So candle 1, candle 2, and candle 3. And on the lower time frame, that's our entry time frame. So again, the first thing we have to do is look at candle 2 closure. In this case, candle 2 is sweeping candle 1 low and is closing above. So what do we want to do? Mark the equilibrium of candle 2, we find the midpoint, and now I want to see the upper part of this equilibrium being respected, and this is the area where we ideally want to see our entry. Once we have this area marked, we go down to the lower time frame, and now we're looking for two things. The first one is the change in the state of delivery, which is confirming that the swing formation on the higher time frame is valid. And then we want to see a point of interest inside the entry area we just marked. In this case, we can see a fair value gap and price rejecting this fair value gap. As confirmation, we mark the down-close candles that form this new low, and once price closes above the body of those candles, we can place the entry. Where do we place the stop and where do we place the target? The stop goes at the new low, so this low that formed inside the point of interest and was confirmed by this OB, because now this is a protected swing, and the target is sitting at the next liquidity above. Now, is this entry area a strict fixed zone? No, it's not a specific line you need to hit exactly. It's an ideal area where we want to see the entry happen. What matters most is entering as close as possible to the candle open. So even if the body has already started forming, if we are still close to that open, the entry is still valid. But don't wait until the candle has already expanded. If you see that happen and you missed it, let it go. You can look for another entry on candle 4 or wait for another setup. No FOMO, no fear of missing out. These setups show up every single day, sometimes even multiple times a day. So there really is no need to force an entry and risk getting stopped out for literally no reason. Now, the fair value gap isn't the only point of interest we can use here. There are others too. For example, the ERL sweep and the confirmation that works the same way. On the higher time frame, we have the swing formation. We mark the equilibrium of candle 2 and we find our entry area where we want to see ideally the entry for. What we want to see on the lower time frame is first the change in the state of delivery that confirms our swing formation. And in this case, we have an ERL getting swept and the confirmation above the down close candles that form the new low. And just like before, we can open the trade as soon as we get the confirmation. The stop goes at the new low, which is now a protected swing, and the target sits on the next liquidity above. There's also another type of entry that comes from the SMT divergence, which is a cracking correlation between two related assets, but that requires a different setup and a different way of reading the higher time frame. So I'm not going to get into it today. I'm just telling you that the advantage with SMT divergences is that it lets you enter earlier and catch bigger moves. But again, that's a different structure entirely. So if that's something you want a full video on, let me know in the comments and I'll break it down properly. So let's go over some examples. Here we are on the higher time frame. We can see that we have a C2 because this candle 2 is sweeping below previous candle low and closing above. At this point, I'm gonna find the equilibrium. Let's put it the other way. I want to see the next candle form a wick inside this area and give me an entry here or around here. So here we are on the lower time frame. Let's wait for candle 3 to open. Let's see what it's giving us. And here we can see that we have a fair value gap being retested and being confirmed by closing above a series of down close candles that form this new low. Now this is a protected swing, so we can place our entry right here, stop at the lows, targeting the next liquidity above, and let's see how it plays out. It trades higher. Here we are on another example on ES, and what we can notice here is that again we have a C2 closure. So candle 1, candle 2, sweeping previous candle low and closing above. So in this case, what I want to do is just find the equilibrium, the midpoint of this new candle, and what I want to see is candle 3 forming a wick inside this entry area and giving us an entry inside. So let's go to the lower time frame. And here we can already see that we had this fair value gap. It got tested, rejected. We already closed above the series of down close candles that created this new low. This new low is now a protected swing. So when the new candle opens, I can already place my entry because we already have the confirmation, the point of interest. The stop goes at the low, at the protected swing, targeting the next liquidity above. And as you can see, we trade higher. Here another example, this time on NQ. And again, what we are seeing on the higher time frame is that we are sweeping candle 1 low. So we have a C1, we have a C2. What do we want to see? Price respect the equilibrium of candle 2. And now I am expecting candle 3 to trade inside this equilibrium, respecting this area and giving us an entry close to this area. Here we are on the lower time frame. We don't have anything that we can see at this moment. So let's wait for candle 3 to open. Okay, in this case, what I can see that we have a fair value gap that's being tested We don't have the confirmation yet, but we have a new low. If now price closes above the series of down close candles that created the low, we have the confirmation. In this case, we only have one red candle, so let's wait. We don't have the confirmation. We have now a new low, but the confirmation stays the same. Let's see if we can get the OB closure. We don't. We have a new low. Now we can switch our CISD here. Let's see if we get the confirmation. Not yet. And now we do have the confirmation. So now we can place our entry here, stop at the new protected low, which is now this one, and targeting the next liquidity above. So let's see if we can get there. Takes a while, but we get to the target. Some days it's just choppier than others, but the framework is the same regardless of market conditions. Here's another example. We are on NQ, and what we can see is that we have a C1, C2 sweeping previous candle low and closing above. So we are expecting price now to respect this equilibrium, and we're looking for an entry inside this entry area. Let's go to the entry time frame, and let's wait for a point of interest to pop up. Okay, now at this point, we are testing this fair value gap. Even if it's small, we are still testing this fair value gap. Once we get the confirmation, which is again closing above the down close candles that formed this new low, we can get in. We have the confirmation now, so we can place the entry, stop at this new protected low. So this is the new low, and we can place our stop there, targeting the next liquidity above. And we get there. Now, using the same setup, if we are missing the entry in candle 3 and the setup is still valid, we can look for an entry on candle 4, so trade the candle 4 expansion. And what we want to see is the exact same thing. So we draw the equilibrium of candle 3, and we want to find an entry inside the entry area. We want to see candle 4 respecting the upper part of the equilibrium, since in this case we are bullish. So let's go again to the entry time frame. Assuming that we missed the first entry, this is our area, and what we can see here is that we have a small fair value gap being tested and already rejected. So we have the confirmation, and when the new candle opens, I can already place my entry with the stop at this new low, which is now a protected swing, and targeting the next liquidity above. So in this case, we also get an entry in candle 4. So that's the entire framework for finding your entries: the swing formation, the equilibrium, the confirmation through CISD, and the point of interest, whether that's a fair value gap, an ERL sweep, or any other point of interest. And the reason this matters so much isn't just about catching the move, it's about taking the guessing out of the equation completely. When you have a clear set of rules for where your entry goes, you're not sitting there hesitating, you're not second guessing yourself in the moment you have to actually click buy yourself. You're just executing what the chart is already showing you. That's what removes the fear and the emotion from this part of trading. It stops being a feeling and it starts being a process. One last thing on stops and targets, since I get asked this a lot. The stop always goes at the new higher low, which is protected, and that part stays the same across every example we cover today. The target is more personal though. I usually look for a minimum of 2 to 1 risk to reward, but that's really up to you and what you're trying to get out of your trading. So if you want a higher win rate, you can aim for 1 to 1, and if you want a better reward for the trades that do work, you can push for 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. Just know that comes with a lower win rate, so it's a trade-off either way. There's no right answer. Just what fits how you actually trade. If this helped you see your entries a bit more clearly, make sure you're following me on my Instagram @SierraTrades. That's where I post the day-to-day breakdowns and recaps. And let me know in the comments what you want to see next, whether that's the SMT divergence breakdown or something else entirely. I'll see you in the next one.